So today we'll be having a review of this mic here. This is the AKG C535 EB. I'm Richard and welcome to ZP Productions, and today we'll be looking at this mic here, the AKG C535 EB, which is a condenser mic for the purpose of vocals. Now, this is a discontinued mic and the replacement is actually the AKG C636. So let's take a look at this mic here, and if you notice, I have the SM58 set up next to it because this is the comparison mic. Before I start, I'd like to tag anything audio because my previous mic, which I purchased from them, the C4500, had some issues and it is a discontinued mic. So out of goodwill, they just swapped for me totally free with this mic here. And the C535 is actually slightly more expensive, but they didn't charge me. So I like to really thank them for this goodwill offer and allowing me to bring you this review because the C535 is a really good mic. I mean, you go online and see there is many reviews out there. So today, let's take a look at this mic here. But before we start, as usual, let's take a look at the box opening. Now, the box opening is really similar to the SM58. It is just a plain cardboard box. You open it up, you will see a bag and various documentations. Remove all of them and you will see a foam, and the foam itself is holding the mic. This is probably the only improvement over the SM58 when it comes to packaging because it comes with a full foam, foam cutout that can hold the mic and the stand adapter itself. The stand adapter comes with a mini adapter inside to change it from the usual mic screw heads to the 3/8 screw heads so that you can mount it easily on mic stands such as this or maybe some other stands themselves. So it is really convenient and pretty much that's it for the box opening. Now, the C535 is a condenser mic and is built by AKG for the purpose of vocals. The mic is a cardioid pattern and you notice the cardioid pattern itself is quite interesting. There is, I think, on the left side slightly more sound receiving than the right side itself, but pretty much later we'll try it out in the review to see how it sounds like from the side, in the front and the back. So if you look at the frequency chart itself, this mic is really interesting. Firstly, there is of course some fall off before the 100 Hz mark, and you can actually activate a bass roll off for this mic itself, or high pass filter if you call it. And if you look at the back itself, the higher frequencies, this whole mic is totally flat from the 100 Hz until like 6000 Hz. And then there is a slight bump, really slight bump, which will just go down a little bit and last all the way to 20,000 Hz, which means this mic can receive the full frequency of 20 Hz to 20k kHz, which if you ask me, a really flat sounding mic. Now, I'm not really sure how it sounds. I have heard it just now. I've tried some tests, but that is something that I will talk about in the conclusion itself. Now, moving on to the test. So this mic itself will be tested against the SM58. The mic will always be played before the SM58 itself. So it will always be AKG C535 followed by SM58. And the test itself is, as you can see in this list here, the list shows the test that I'll be carrying out. It's the usual test that I'll be doing for the last few mic reviews, so you can actually compare them quite easily. And the SM58 is some sort of, a comparison between different videos, so that you know that, how does it sound against the pop mic if you have listened to my SM58 versus the pop mic video, and how does it sound against some other high-end mics if you have listened to other comparison videos itself. The test itself, as usual, will always be connected to my Mix Pre 3, and this mic is at 38 gain with phantom power, because it's a condenser mic, while this mic, the SM58, is a dynamic mic, requires about 58 gain. So there's about 20 gain difference, but this one doesn't require phantom power itself. So let's head on to the test itself, and we'll run through the test that I have listed earlier. For the first test, it will be the Plosives test. Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers. 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 This is the proximity effect of the C535. This is at 3 inches. This is at 1 foot. This is at 2 feet. This is the SM58 proximity effect. This is at 3 inches. This is at 1 feet. This is at 2 feet. The next thing we are testing is the room ambient rejection and the noise test. The next thing we are testing is the room ambient rejection and the noise test. This is tapping on the table, and I'm tapping, and I hope that you can hear something from the tap itself. And now for all the gamers out there and all the people who are going to videocast, podcast, this is tapping on the keyboard and you can hear the difference in the sound itself. This is tapping on the table, and I'm tapping, and I hope that you can hear something from the tap itself. And now for all the gamers out there and all the people who are going to videocast, podcast, this is tapping on the keyboard and you can hear the difference in the sound itself. And the next test will be the front, side and back test to test the polar patterns. This is the AKG from the front. This is the AKG from the right side. This is the AKG from the left side. This is AKG from the back. This is the SM58 from the front. This is the SM58 from the right. This is SM58 from the left. This is SM58 from the back. So the next test we'll be doing is this soft and loud test. This is a soft whisper. This is my normal voice. This is a really loud voice. This is a soft whisper. This is my normal voice. This is a really loud voice. As both of these mics are meant to be handheld due to their shape, let me try to rub them to see how their handling effects or handling noise sounds like. Okay, and now we have done with the test. Let us hear the results and I'll get back to you in a few hours' time. I'm back and it's time for the conclusion between both of these mics. Just to recap, this is the AKG C535 and this is the SM58 by Shures. So, how do each of the mic sound like to me? Now, when it comes to the technical test, in terms of plosives, both of them do suffer from plosives. The SM58 plosives felt a bit more strong, I guess, due to the bassier type of feel or sound that the SM58 creates. But on general, I think both of them are quite similar when it comes to plosives themselves. When it comes to the proximity effect, the SM58 definitely shows more proximity effect. It gives more authoritative feel to the voice itself, but it also increases the muddiness of the voice, which sometimes people may not like. And this is something that the C535 doesn't have. Yes, you have some authoritativeness when you go really close as proximity effect comes, but the sound itself from the C535 doesn't increase in terms of muddiness. And then we go on to the next few tests when it comes to self-noise, when it comes to tapping on the keyboard, when it comes to everything else, it is about the same, plus minus 1 dB difference, which is really insignificant. Now, the only significant one at the back of the test is the handling noise, and definitely the C535 has more handling noise. At least if you rub it, you can definitely hear it, while the SM58, you hear the tick-tock, which is actually the stand moving around. If normal ways, you just hold the mic, you probably cannot hear it at all. But definitely this one has some handling noise. It is still really little compared to mics that require shock mounts like the pod mic itself or any of these high-end mics that is floating above my head now. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about is, of course, these two mics based on my voice. And pretty much if you have went through the review so far, you would have heard enough of my voice itself. Definitely the SM58 is smoother. It is also darker and it's also thicker. And if you ask me, there is somewhat less detail. When you hear the C535, you really can hear the small little nuances in my voice and the roughness, the crunchiness in certain parts of it too. And also all my mouth movements are more obvious on the C535. If you ask me, the C535 is like a polished version of the pod mic, which is high clarity, a bit bright in nature, and a little bit of high ends there that causes a little bit of sibilance and stuff. But on general, it sounds a lot better than the pod mic. It is also very energetic in feeling, very lively, while the SM58 feels just really smooth and flowing. But in certain cases you really want such energy, definitely the C535 is a better mic. But if you just want slow, thick and smooth, I think the SM58 still performs better. And that's about it for my conclusion. Between both of these mics, I think they are both really, really good. If I'm not going to edit my voice, I will probably prefer the SM58 slightly more. But if I'm going to go through any form of post-processing for my vocals, I think the C535 definitely is a better choice. It's probably a winner to me compared to the SM58. Now, going back to the C535, if you notice, right, the C535 has a really flat frequency and it captures almost every kind of sound. Now, I'm not too sure on that without actually comparing to some other flat mics such as the WA251, which is a really flat signature overall. I think I really need to do some comparison between them, even though this is probably like, I think, if I'm not wrong, 1/3 the price of a WA251 or 1/3 the price of a TLM102. I think definitely this mic can probably compare with them in many ways. Now, I hope you enjoyed this review and do like and subscribe if you want to see more of such things. If not, just follow me and see my videos and learn something out of it, I hope. And that's about it for today. I will see you next time. Bye bye.